There is another angle now that has been added to the mystery surrounding Jacintha Saldanha, the Indian nurse's death. A report in the UK newspaper The Mirror gives details never revealed before. For the first time, the newspaper has revealed that Jacintha was found hanging in her house on Friday morning. So far, the way she died hasn't been revealed. The newspaper reconstructs the sequence of events before Jacintha's death after collating testimonies of people who were close to her and lived around her. Remember, Jacintha had been prank called 3 days before she was found dead in her flat. According to her husband, she went completely incommunicado immediately afterward. Her husband tried to contact her desperately but got no response. He then sent a friend to check on her in her flat in London on Thursday. She also returned when she got no answer. The next morning, Jacintha was found hanging inside her flat. Well, these new revelations raise several questions that make the story murky. First, did Jacintha Saldanha hang herself, or was there foul play involved? What made Jacintha cut herself off from her family immediately after being pranked? And when Jacintha's friend visited her at home, was she already dead at that time? I want to get in a word from Headlines Today's Lavina Tandon, who joins me live from London. Lavina, the mirror piece pretty much paints the first detailed picture, really, of what may have actually happened. Several unanswered questions remain, but it does paint a pretty specific picture now.
Yes, well, this is, we do not yet know really the details. They have come up by saying that she hanged herself. In fact, initially and now again, Sky has also said that when the paramedics reached her house, she was still alive, but they could not get her back to life. She died on location. So these are just initial reports, not being confirmed by the police. The coroner would not confirm this. The only thing is to wait for the inquest report now finally to figure out what and how exactly this happened. Now, as far as the questions that you raised go, we cannot answer them as yet until the inquest goes on, and if the family or anyone else comes forward to talk about it. Then the inquest actually now opens, will only talk about what the cause of the death was, but as the inquest proceeds and it investigates, the verdict in the end will tell us what are the other factors that contributed to her death, and it is possible that the result of tomorrow's cause of the death could change or be added to. So these are very, very intriguing questions now. At the same time, as I would add that the hospital and the radio station are in conflict as well, about radio station saying we called you before to take permission, while hospital saying so there are a lot of angles being added to this entire situation. But the real sad part is that the family is still grieving. They are not talking. People who have spoken to them have come forward and saying this, and the fact now actually is quite clear that it was a suicide and not unexplained death like it was being treated before.
Lavina, tomorrow is going to be a crucial day, is it not? Tomorrow is when the inquest is going to be opened at the coroner's office in London. What are we expecting to see happen? Just take us through the process that we see play out tomorrow.
Tomorrow the inquest opens at 9:30 and it will all be for 5 minutes. Two things will happen. One, they will tell us what was the cause of the death, and possibly after that the body will be released. When we are hoping that we'll get to know when the body will be given to the family so that they can do what they like to do. Also, the family has not, I would just like to add that the family has not spoken, but they have insisted through other people on their behalf that the hospital which is conducting internal inquiry, that's not enough. A full inquiry should be held in which they are involved as well, because there is definitely something more to this. Something must have happened in those 3 days where she completely went incommunicado with her family, who she used to speak to every other day, at least 2 times a day, which is why her husband got panicked. And also she was a strong woman, so what really pushed her to the edge? Something must have happened. So a full inquiry would bring all this into focus, and tomorrow the inquest opens. The final verdict will be through later.
All right, the final verdict will be through later, but much to look forward to in those few minutes of information that we get when the inquest opens tomorrow. Rohini, this has been a terrifying story for Jacintha Saldanha's family, who lived away from her in the UK, as well as her extended family there in Mangalore. What are they actually hoping for? The people who are there, if we could hear some voices of people who are there as part of that vigil, what are they really hoping for as far as justice is concerned?
Well, as I speak right now, the candlelight march has just started, and as you can see that people are actually crossing the road, traffic has been stopped. But let me tell you when I've been talking to people, they've been telling me all they expect for now is justice for Jacintha, in terms of let the investigation be complete, let her body be handed over to the family, and let Jacintha come home so they can at least hold her final rites here in Mangalore.
All right, Rohini, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thanks for joining us with those updates. That was a candlelight vigil. You saw the images of that candlelight vigil happening there in Mangalore. Remember, in London at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, local time in London, is when the inquest opens. 4 or 5 minutes of information where the cause of death will be declared for the first time. And remember, the details that are coming out now, first in the Mirror newspaper in the UK, have come out for the first time, painting a pretty clear picture for the first time of what really happened tragically to Jacintha Saldanha. Well, back in India, Jacintha's family and friends are demanding justice, even as the inquest into her death is to be conducted tomorrow morning. The family demands that those responsible for driving her to death be brought to book. A candlelight vigil has been organized, like you just saw in those pictures, for the mother of two in Mangalore. Mystery still surrounds the death of the Indian origin nurse. What made her take her life? So far, there has been compensation and advice offered to the grieving family, but no leads about what drove her to take her life or if there was any foul play involved.